How we doing, YouTube? It's your friendly gamer, SmartEntity here. I know it's been way too long, but here it is. So here is a Specialized Mirage build I promised you guys so long ago. Again, sorry for the wait. The main reason is because market prices were crazy. I sold the mods. Max Blind Rage, Max Not Reminded. It took me ages to get them back. I did pay a bit more than what I normally do, but you know, it is here, and here's the build. So a quick look at the build. Basically, no surprise there. We're trying to maximize Hall of Mirrors and Eclipse. Now, I'm not going to go over everything again because I did that quite in detail in my in-depth review of the Mirage frame, but what I am going to emphasize again is the end result. So, Hall of Mirrors basically creates multiple images, and each image does a partial amount of the damage that your primary Warframe does. Now, the damage is increased by Intensify and is vastly increased by Blind Rage. Eclipse, now depending on if you're in light or dark, and light increases damage, which is where this Warframe really shines in your sort of high level T4 defense, T4 survival, and that damage again is increased by Intensify and massively increased by Blind Rage. And of course, because of all the damage increases, these two mods increase each other. So that's why when you have Hall of Mirrors, Eclipse, Blind Rage, and Intensify, the damage increase is exponential. Now, just to put some, I guess, comparisons into perspective, a Hall of Mirror mod, when activated, is almost like putting on Split Chamber and Heavy Caliber. So you're putting on those extra bullets, those extra multi-shot with a bit of inaccuracy, but from gameplay experience, I almost feel that the images have a bit of auto-targeting, because even when I aim not directly at the enemies, because of the multi-shot, it tends to hit a lot of enemies. So extremely effective for mowing down crowds. And as far as Eclipse goes, especially when you got Max Blind Rage and Max Intensify, it's literally having multiple max serrations on. That pure base damage, making, you know, this frame so strong at producing that massive DPS and destroying your, you know, extremely high levels or 80 level plus heavy gunners so fast. And of course, the other mods pretty much stays the same. So you got Corrosive Projection, which is an aura recommended for all high-level tower play, Guardian play. I mostly play tower, so I always have Corrosive Projection on my frames. Streamline for that efficiency. Now, you do want to max Streamline, not Fleeting Expertise, because both Hall of Mirrors and Eclipse depend, you know, severely on Fleeting Expertise, and given that both of these powers cost only 25 energy, even with the energy inefficiency provided by Blind Rage, now this is through a lot of testing, I've actually never found myself running out of energy, you know, without even Trinity, even if you just have a Necros in there desecrating, you just don't run out of energy because these powers are so energy efficient at baseline. And of course, my survival combo, Vitality, Rage, and Quick Thinking for that sort of, you know, in-game survival gameplay. Now, I do have continuity on here. You know, it is debatable. Continuity gives you 30% duration versus something like Constitution, which is 28%. But it does have that 40% knockdown recovery, so a lot of it comes down to, I guess, you know, preference. But personally, I found using Constitution never gave me that much more benefit. But you know, with 3 formers, you can put Constitution on there anyway. I usually run with continuity. That 2%, you know, after I guess an hour of T4 survival, do add up. But if you prefer Constitution, that's perfectly fine as well. So that is sort of up to preference. Okay, so before I jump into some gameplay, I just want to quickly compare the Specialized build to the build I showed off in the in-depth review video. So here's the build I showed off a couple weeks back. So back in the days, I had Prism in there. Now, during this video, I was showing off how slow Prism was, even with natural talent, and because of that, you know, I just felt Prism wasn't really necessary. In low-level gameplay, you just kill enemies outright. Where Prism really shines on paper is its blinding effect, not unlike Excalibur's Radio Blind. But of course, the problem was that, as demonstrated in this video, is even with natural talent, the long casting time and then the detonation that follows. It's just too long, and in low level, obviously there's no point because you kill them outright, and in high level, half the time you probably won't survive through the animation. So that's why, through a lot of testing, I just took Prism out and put in Max Blind Rage. Now I do appreciate not everyone, in fact a lot of people don't have enough Plat or Rare 5 to invest into two rare rank 10s max, such as Blind Rage and Narrow-Minded. So if that is the case, this build is still very strong. It can definitely quite easily take you to 60-minute T4 survival, wave 40 T4 defense, no problem. And if you do want to invest a couple formats in there, you can just chuck in a continuity or constitution. It really doesn't matter that much. But if you do have the Plat or the Rare 5 to invest into this build, this is an extremely strong build. As far as DPS wise go, I definitely feel it's stronger than Nova Max build. I did show off a Specialized Nova build not that long ago, so compared to that in-game build, I found this to be stronger. Now I will do a bit of comparison later on, but the main reason this build is stronger is because in-game, say T4 survival, you have Necros who's pretty much in a corner desecrating, so he's not providing DPS damage. You'll be having a Trinity who will be doing a bit of DPS damage, and then you probably have a Nyx who will be in absorb half the time, or casting Chaos a lot of the time as well. So it won't be damage DPS from Nyx. So it's basically you and the Trinity. So Nova obviously have that damage multiplier that will help you out as well as everyone. But because it's only you and the Trinity dishing out damage, you're not really helping all four people. Whereas Mirage is only helping herself, but because of this exponential damage increase from this build, you're more than overcompensating for all the other teammates. So that's why I found for specialized gameplay, Mirage actually do provide a bit more DPS than a Nova with Molecular Prime. Now I'm not going to go into an argument with anti-meta drop again, because in high level gameplay without God Mode Blessing, which is no longer available, it's just no longer effective. So I'm in a T3 Exterminate here solo. From past experience, I found it's much easier to demonstrate these powers in the sort of T3 T4 Exterminate as opposed to actually doing it at an 80-minute T3 T4 survival, because it's just not, it's effective there, but as far as demonstrating, it's not that effective, just because half the time you risk dying, and the other half you really want to focus on the game. So activating 12 Mirrors and Eclipse, quite literally every enemy should just pretty much die. Now I do want to demonstrate here. If you guys see this enemy here, and see what I'm shooting at, see enemies are just die this bit, me not actually getting the sort of aim on the enemies, and that is what I was talking about when I was saying Hall of Mirrors have a bit of an auto-targeting effect, as well as a sort of, I guess, split chamber heavy caliber combination, if you like. So yeah, we'll just go through the gameplay here quickly and see how fast we can actually sort this out. So as you can see, without much aiming at all, I'm quite literally just scanning through the sort of map. Pretty much every enemy just dies. Now I'm just going to wait and hold Mirror Score. So if you have a look at the bottom right of the screen, so with this build, you pretty much get 56 seconds of Hall of Mirrors and 45 seconds of Eclipse. So, I mean, that I would say is more than enough for you to get the energy back for those castings. So that's what I was saying, there's no point having fleeting expertise, and honestly having the Blind Rage in there, max Blind Rage, really isn't harming the energy efficiency that much. So these are level 30 to 40 enemies, and it really doesn't take much to kill them at all. Yes, it is a max Boulder Prime, but even with the max Boulder Prime, usually heavy gunners take a bit more than just 1 or 2 shots. I'll do a bit more running around here, see how I go. Just before I end the clip here. Usually, I really like these sort of Exterminate because there is a cluster of heavy gunners, which is not really the case in this game, it would seem. But I'll see if I can find some more shortly. And you know, it's something that you can't really explain until you have the gameplay experience. And it's really, you know, with these powers, it really takes any necessity of aiming out of the game. But one thing you do want to remember is you do really want to stay in the light, because when in the dark, Eclipse doesn't affect damage. As you saw with that sort of heavy gunner a couple of seconds back, it did take a bit to kill it. But with Eclipse in the light and Hall of Mirrors, these guys, you know, just basically disappear, right? There's no drama whatsoever. So yeah, that's pretty much the specialized build for Mirage. So as to the specialty, pretty much any type of gameplay that you need to kill enemies fast, to kill groups of enemies fast. Now, having said all of that, I found Mirage, just because of the way the power works, is probably not as effective at killing bosses as one would think. It is effective, but just because of the sort of decrease in accuracy, if you like, from the Hall of Mirrors of the images, you know, you're not as good at sniping Lephantis or Void War. But having said that, you know, it's definitely a top tier frame, top tier DPS. I said it before, it's competition to Nova. It definitely is. At this stage, I would say it's situational. In some situations, Mirage is outright better than Nova as far as DPS, and in other situations, Nova is still slightly better just because you have that sort of squad benefit with Molecular Prime. Alright guys, so thanks for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers!